Dear children, so happy morning to one and all. The lesson we are going to discuss is metals and non-metals. So in last class, we discussed about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So in that, we discussed reaction with oxygen and reaction with water. So today also, we are going to discuss the chemical properties of metals and non-metals, and we concluded with uses of metals and non-metals. So in chemical properties of metals and non-metals, that is, first is reaction with acids, and second is reaction with the base, and third is displacement reaction. So we have to discuss the three topics in chemical properties, and finally uses of metals and non-metals. First, we discuss the reaction with acids. So what happens when metal and non-metal reacts with acid? So first see the general reaction. So when metal is treated with acid, it forms salt and hydrogen gas is liberated. So metal reacts with acid, it forms salt and liberates hydrogen gas. So for example, when we take the silver, when the silver is treated with hydrochloric acid, so what salt is formed? Silver chloride salt is formed and hydrogen gas is liberated. So it is an example for metals and non-metals. So what happens when non-metal is treated with acid? No reaction takes place. So when we add sulfur with hydrochloric acid, there is no reaction will be there. No reaction takes place. So only with the help of metal only the reaction takes place. It will give salt and hydrogen gas. So let me see the activity 4.6. So in that we have to keep the mouth of the test tube away from your face. Use test tube holder to hold the test tube. So we have to keep away the face and take samples of metals and non-metals listed in table 4.5 in separate test tubes and label them A, B, C, D, E and F. And with the help of the dropper, add 5 ml of hydrochloric acid to each test tube one by one. And observe the reaction carefully. If no reaction occurs in the cold solution, warm the test tube. So for example, when we take the magnesium, so when we add dilute hydrochloric acid in that, if the no reaction will takes place at that cold solution, so we have to heat the test tube. If we heat it means the reaction will takes place for some cases. So bring the burning matchstick near the mouth of each test tube. So we have to bring the burning matchsticks near the mouth of each test tube. And repeat the same activity using sulfuric acid instead of hydrochloric acid. and record your observation in table. So this is the table. So in the table, so what are the metals and non-metals are there? Magnesium. So magnesium ribbon. It is a metal or non-metal, children? Yes. Magnesium is a metal. And aluminium foil. So it's metal or non-metal? Yes, it's also metal. So iron filling, it is also metal. Copper, it's peeled flexible wire. So it is also metal. Charcoal powder. So charcoal powder. So in the charcoal powder, what is there? Yes, carbon is there. Carbon is a metal or non-metal, children? Yes, it is non-metal. And next is sulfur powder. So sulfur powder is a metal or non-metal? It's non-metal. So first, reaction with dilute hydrochloric acid. So when we take the 5 different test tubes, so in the first test tube, the magnesium ribbon we have to take. So in that, when we add dilute hydrochloric acid at room temperature, what will happen? It will form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas is liberated. So how we can identify the hydrogen gas is liberated? Yes, when we take the burning matchstick, we have to keep the burning matchstick in the mouth of the test tube. The pop sound will be produced. So the pop sound indicates that it is a metal. So generally, metal is reacts with acid, means it will liberate hydrogen gas. How we can identify the hydrogen gas? Yes, we have to keep the burning matchsticks on the mouth of the test tube, means it will produce the pop sound. So the pop sound indicates that hydrogen gas is liberated. So with this experiment, we can easily identify the hydrogen gas is liberated or not. So at the room temperature, the hydrogen gas is liberated, and when we warm, when we heat also, the hydrogen gas is liberated faster. Because when we increase the temperature, the rate of reaction is also faster. The liberation takes place faster. And with the help of dilute sulfuric acid. So what is the formula for sulfuric acid? H2SO4. So when magnesium is treated with sulfuric acid, what does form? It forms magnesium sulfate and hydrogen gas is liberated. So here the magnesium sulfate is formed and hydrogen gas is liberated. So at the room temperature also hydrogen gas is liberated. So when we warm, the pop sound, it will be very faster. So what is the reason? Yes, when we increase the temperature, the rate of reaction it's also increases. And next is aluminium foil. So aluminium foil is a metal. So when we add hydrochloric acid, what does form? Aluminium chloride plus hydrogen gas is liberated. So in the room temperature also hydrogen gas is liberated, and when we heat it also the hydrogen gas is liberated faster. And with the help of sulfuric acid it forms aluminium sulfate and hydrogen gas is liberated. At room temperature hydrogen gas is liberated, and at warm the hydrogen gas liberation it will be faster. And next is iron filling. So when we take the iron filling and when we add the hydrochloric acid, it forms iron chloride and hydrogen gas is liberated at the room temperature. So when we heat the hydrogen gas liberation, it will be faster. and with the help of dilute sulfuric acid, it forms iron sulfate and hydrogen gas is liberated. At room temperature, the hydrogen gas liberation is there, and when we warm, the hydrogen gas liberation, it will be faster. And next, in copper, peeled flexible wire. So when we add dilute hydrochloric acid, so what happens? What happens when we add dilute hydrochloric acid? No reaction takes place. Here the hydrogen liberation is not there. And when we heat it also, the reaction will not take place. Because the copper is treated with dilute hydrochloric acid, it will not, the reaction takes place because it's passively inert. The reaction does not occur with hydrochloric acid. It passive inert. Passive inert means the reaction does not occur. And the reaction with dilute sulfuric acid, the copper, it will form copper sulfate and hydrogen gas is liberated. And when we heat it also, the hydrogen gas liberation, it will be faster. And charcoal powder, so it is a non-metal. So what happens when non-metal is treated with acid? No reaction takes place. So no reaction takes place. So when we heat it also, no reaction takes place. So when we add dilute sulfuric acid, no reaction takes place, and when we heat, no reaction takes place. And sulfur is also non-metal. So when we add dilute hydrochloric acid, no reaction takes place. So when we heat it also, no reaction takes place. And when we add dilute sulfuric acid, so in that also, no reaction takes place. And when we heat, that time also, no reaction takes place. So what could the pop sound in some cases be due when a burning matchstick is brought near the mouth of the test tube? So what is the reason why the pop sound is produced? Because you must have found that non-metals generally do not react with acids, but metal react with acids and produce hydrogen gas that burns with pop sound. So that is the reason. So when metal is react with acid, it liberates hydrogen gas. So when we kept the burning matchsticks, it will produce the popping sound. But in the presence of non-metal, it will not produce the pop sound because no reaction takes place on that. And you must have noticed that copper does not react with dilute hydrochloric acid even on heating, but it reacts with sulfuric acid. So copper will not react with dilute hydrochloric acid even on heating also. But copper reacts with sulfuric acid because with the help of hydrochloric acid, it becomes the passive inert. So that's why the reaction does not take place. Okay children, see you on next session. Thank you.